I think we go to the next speaker. He has over 40 years of experience, both about half and half with academia and the other half with both industry as well as with the government. And now he actually is the CEO of the Madinah Institute for Leadership and Entrepreneurship, called MILE or MILE, and also the chief advisor at the newly established National Center for Performance Measurement of Public Entities in Saudi Arabia. He is actually an Egyptian by birth, Canadian citizen. Let me introduce to you Dr. Mohamed Mustafa Mahmoud, also known as Dr. 3M. Please join me in inviting him to the floor.
Thank you. Please. Can you put my PowerPoint on? السلام عليكم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا بفضلك علما. I prepared a PowerPoint presentation which I thought have some interesting ideas, but when I met yesterday the Minister of Education, Dr. Idris, and I read the report about the advancement in education in Malaysia. I feel shy of making my presentation. It seems that I will be preaching to the convert. So please bear with me. Malaysia has been ahead of many other countries in advancing their education system. But I would like to share with you today, can you put my PowerPoint on, please? Yes. As you mentioned, I spent 20 years teaching in universities. I graduated from Wharton University of Pennsylvania, spent 10 years in Canada and America and other countries, and 20 years in executive education, corporate university or academies. And let me just share with you some lessons from what I did when I was in the academia. First, learning practice cycle. When I was teaching in Canada and in Kuwait and in Egypt, I believed very much that any knowledge that we impart in our students, unless they go and practice it, not after they finish education, but in the same week. So when I teach one class in the first week of my course, I ask the student to go to the field and collect information and they bring a report, weekly report of what they have learned. So I call this the learning practice. And what we did, we teach them technical knowledge, also soft skills. Business, mathematics, and decision making is not enough. And accounting, they need soft skills, how to work as a group. Then we put them into business simulation game to apply what they have learned. And then they reflect on the results of the business simulation game and they share their experience with each other. They used to do this in a weekly basis during the class. The other concept, the question that I would like to ask, would you trust a brain surgeon who passed his board exam with, let us even make it 98%? I wouldn't trust him because my case might be the 2% that he, didn't pass. So I wouldn't even trust a plumber that he test his vocational test on 89% or 98%. So what I am trying to say, we graduate people with the scores that range from A+ all the way to D or C. Why we let our students go outside of the academic institution and they have achieved a normal distribution, some of them are B and C and D. How can you trust an accountant who passed his exam with C and D? How can you trust him? Why we don't strive to make all our students reach, complete achievement? There is always, in our system, one top of the class. Why there is only one top of the class? Why not everybody gets an A's? Why not everybody be the top of the class? And this is what I tried to do actually when I was teaching at the university. What I tried to do is to collapse and shift the curve. I tried to make my curve look like this. So what I do, this is what I did. I ask students not to compete with each other. They compete with themselves. Any student who finishes the exam at the end of the term and he brings me the paper and I mark it and I tell him you got C. But tell me you what? I am willing to re-examine you again, and I tell you where you missed points. Go back again and study. If you like, come back. I will make another test for you, and I will remark it. And I allow him to do this as many times as he's willing to do this. I only stop when he give up. So I give the student all the opportunity. There is nothing to say, finished. I marked your exam and this is your mark. You get stuck with it forever. We are not there to graduate people with B and C and Ds. We are there to help them to reach excellence. And I did this in my classes, and many of my faculty colleagues, they were criticizing me for being so lenient. I say, this is not lenient. I don't want anybody to walk out from my class without an A mark, because this reflects, this is my KPI. Let me talk now about corporate. I established Savola Academy. It's a food industry, the largest food producer in the Middle East. Banda is the largest retail producer. Ministry of Labor, Jeddah Municipality, and finally we established MILE in Madinah. MILE is Madinah Institute for Leadership and Entrepreneurship. It's a non-profit institute. It focuses on education for the top C-level executives. Executives in Malaysia mean entry level. Executive in the other part of the world mean very senior level. So when I say executive education, I mean the senior one. So what we did, one concept that we all have to remember, a dua that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min ilmin la yanfa. As we seek refuge in Allah from a shaitan rajim. Equally, the Prophet seek refuge in Allah from knowledge which is not translated into benefits. At the university, we teach people so many topics, and I call it just in case education. We teach them in the business school where I teach business, banking, finance, economics. Why you teach them all of this subject? Because if they end up working in an insurance company, they need to know insurance. If they ended up working in banking, they need this, and so on. But suppose they never end up working in this organization, what they do with the knowledge they have learned, it is just in case. We teach them many subjects just in case they might need them. But when you go to corporate, you don't teach people things just for the sake of teaching, completing a curriculum. You just teach them what they need to perform their job better. And I call this training, the corporate, more relevant, more timely, surgical. Don't take the employee from his job and spend the time teaching him unless whatever you are teaching him, he will be able to put it into practice. And this is what I call just-in-time education or just-in-time development. And why we started in MILE with the top executives, why we are not focused in the middle of the pyramid and the bottom of the pyramid, because we always have a feeling that the fish rots from the top, from the head. If you develop the young people and they go back to work and their boss does not accept the change and the new ideas, he will be disappointed. In fact, it fire back. We bring the young people, train, empower them, motivate them. They go back to work, they find old-minded boss. He is not accepting the change. So what happened? He disappointed the employees. And what happened? It fire back on him. He gave up. So what we decided to do in MILE, that we have to focus on the top, on the head. Excuse me. I saved the 5 minutes from him, huh? I was clocking him, by the way. The important thing in executive education, be selective. Unfortunately, we have limited resources in training and development. We cannot be so democratic. We have to be, but practically we cannot. You have to find the people who can give you the highest return on investment, the people who are willing to change. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, إِنَّمَا النَّاسُ كَالْإِبِلِ الْمَاءَ لَا تَكَادُ تَجِدُ فِيهَا رَاحِلًا. People like 100 camels. You can hardly find one which you can ride. The other 99 will not let you ride them. So it's 1 out of 100. So the critical thing, no, not 2 minutes. Don't try. This is my moderator, you know. He's giving me 10 minutes. Huh? Thank you. Daring to live fully. Live the length and the width of our life. You know, in the 7 habits of highly effective people, habit number 7, as Dr. Mustafa said, says that real development of leader should not only focus on mental development. We go to school, you go to Harvard, Oxford, you spend the bulk of your education, mental development. Stephen Covey said, we can graduate people who are very smart but very corrupt, and they cause economic crisis for us. So we have to equally pay attention to all of them. In Mile, this what we did. We don't preach this. We do this. Managers come to us for 2 weeks, and every minute from early morning when they do Fajr prayer in the Masjid al-Nabawi, this is spiritual. They come back and they play aerobics with a very professional aerobic trainer. They go to breakfast and they have high fiber, low cholesterol meals. And then they go to class with the Harvard or the Oxford or Wharton professor to teach them. So they have the physical. They have lots of group activities that bond them and they create bonding and mutual relations among them. So we did this. Mental, spiritual, social, and physical. Let me tell you exactly how to do it. So for the mental, we pick speakers from the top business schools to look after the mental part. The other thing, and this is examples of the professors who come and teach in our class. Also, all participants has to go through psychometric assessment before coming to the program. And when they come to the program and they print the report, they sit down with an executive coach to explain to them the report and give them a development roadmap. And at the beginning of each morning, we ask a participant to summarize what they have learned the day before. So you get the knowledge, you assimilate it, and you have to share it with other people. It increases retention. For the social is the activities. Lots of networking opportunities. Also, we came up with the concept of strength mirror. Strength mirror, it's based on the Gallup research and the Strength Finder. We have a poster for each participant that carries his photo and name, and the other participants, after mingling with him, they write for him in his poster things that they like about him. Strength, his strength. This empowers people, give them lots of positive energy when they see, and this is a 360, assessment. Also, sohbah. What is sohbah? It is time now for Zuhr prayer. You have 20 minutes. Go to the masjid and come back. We are very close to the masjid. This 20 minutes, going to the masjid and coming back, we came up with a concept which is called sohbah. When you go to the masjid, find somebody that you don't know and tell him, I would like you to be my sohbah going to the Zuhr or Asr prayer today. When you go to the masjid, you can tell him a challenge that you have in your life and you get free advice from him. When you go back, you reverse the role. He tell you about a challenge that he has in his life and get very advice from you. So what happened in this 20 minutes? Physical development, yes, burning calories. Spiritual development, yes, we go into the masjid. We gain hasanat as we walk. Intellectual development, yes, we get free advice. Social, emotional, you bond. Your Johari window increase. You share more information with your colleagues. So even the 20 minutes of walking is a time that we look after. Also physical, we have the fitness exercises in the morning, in the middle of the day. We have the power stretching. I bet all of you now after the lunch, 90% of the blood goes to the stomach. Only 20% goes to the brain. I can see already, 10% of the people are nodding their heads. So what we do at this time, we ask everybody to get up. Let us do this. Everybody get up quickly. Hey, get up. Except the people who are sleeping, you can start. Continue. Yeah, get up. Stretch your hand up all the way in your toes. Down. Again, up. Just, I don't waste my time. That's enough. Deduct this 2 minutes. Oh, 2 minutes? Good. I will finish in 2 minutes. So this is what we do in the classroom. We have a witness here, Dr. Mustafa. He taught in our program. Dr. Mohamed Ghazali, he's one of the founder of Mile. We thank both of them for their contribution. Medical checkup. We set up a clinic inside the hotel where the training takes place, where all the participant has to go through complete medical checkup, and the doctor come and sit down with him. Even dietitian advice. You have a professional dietitian that spend the time with each of the participants. Even the food, you are what you eat. So we, encourage people to eat healthy food. And spiritual. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, I am sure if this is not hadith or not, some people doubt it. Ad-din al-mu'amala. The reality of religion is how you act with other people. Your interaction with the other people. And that's why we do this. As you know, the corruption index show even the top of the list. If you exclude these two columns, they only score 60 or 59%. Mean corruption is something worldwide, and that's why spiritual development as Dr. Mustafa mentioned, is very critical. So we are next door to the Masjid al-Nabawi. We encourage people to go there, mix with the people, drink Zamzam. I will tell you even a surprise. This might be the only leadership development program in the world where I encourage all the executives who attend my program to attend a funeral prayer and go to the graveyard in Al-Baqiyah. Because we talk about strategy in the classroom and we think that we control the world. But when you go to the graveyard and see what's your ultimate mission and vision and objective in being on earth, what legacy you would like to leave, then people realize that we have a short life and what is our terminal destination and what should we do to leave footprint. This is a group, graduation photos. They go to the historical sites, and in Khandak, they speak about the leadership style of Prophet Muhammad in crisis management. In Saqifat Bani Sa'da, they talk about group decision making and Mashura in Islam, where the Sahaba met after the death of the Prophet to make the decision. They go to the historical museum, and Umrah is complimentary. So all our participants, they go to Mecca, to perform Umrah. Lifelong learning. We enable them to do this. Video content production overline. We have 4 webinars every week, which you can see live or see later in a video, or just get the PowerPoint or the soundtrack or a summary article. If you go to our website, tons of videos that are free of charge, broadcasted every week, and the people can get access to them. This is how much. In fact, if you go to YouTube and write executive education or leadership, sometimes we beat or come very close to one of the top business schools in the world, even though we are very tiny organization. These are the last 2 slides. Value reading, we publish small papers. Immersion. The key point in our program is immersion. From morning till evening for 3 weeks, for 2 weeks, people are immersed. If they go back after the program and they said, we have learned a lot, it means I have failed in my mission. If they said we have been changed, transformed, it means that we have succeeded in our mission. Thank you very much. So it's not graduation, it's about transformation. And Madinah khayrun lahum law kanu ya'lamun. Thank you.
Thank you, Mohamed.